Hey guys, we are here doing a little follow-up to our Express offers, kind of our zero to icon status and how we went over that. So we've had a few people reach out and start asking, how do we find these deals? What's the best way to do that? So, we're going to follow up and help you out here with that. So obviously, I'm Sheldon Steele. We got Mr. Doug Grace. Doug's the perfect guy for this video. Doug's got quite the accomplishment, and he'll be the last person to tell you that. But obviously, with him sitting in his element there in the old stinky house with his background. But Doug's been part of what, Doug? 750 plus flips you've been a part of now?
Yeah, it's been quite a few. It's been one heck of a ride. Type of real estate I've focused on for more than 20 years. So yeah, I've had a fair amount of success at it. It's the type of real estate that I love and I enjoy.
Yeah, so when it comes to identifying these types of properties that are really kind of fit into the box and meant for this Express Offers program, that's your element. That's what you know.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff I've studied and practiced for a very long time. And so like most agents out there, they'll have their favorite ways, of course, that they like to market, whether it's their referral base and constantly developing that, or some folks like digital marketing or whatever it is. I got started in this before all the digital marketing started happening, and had developed some marketing techniques. I guess I even want to correct that. I'm not the guy that really developed anything. I go out, what I do is research and find people who are already successful, find out what it is that they're doing, and then, R&D it, right? Rip off and duplicate.
Yeah, it works great. So
the good news is that there's nothing wrong with that. These people generally are selling, some sort of material that they've spent time on putting together. And as long as there's a fair and equitable trade of my money and their knowledge, I'm happy to do that. And then it's all about implementation.
So obviously, as you guys can tell, we'd rather be together doing this. We're on lockdown right now.
Yes,
so we're at home.
Quarantine.
Yep, we're quarantined. I'm kind of in the makeshift office here in the man cave, and Doug's still in his element there in the dirty house. But so,
that's right.
Where my mind goes though,
Living
right? This is there's going to be massive opportunity coming out of this thing, and not only that, this is the best time, right, to start building those lists, setting those plans forward, and implementing them. So, you're rocking and ready to go as you come out of this thing, because, there's no doubt that there's going to be properties available that are going to fit these boxes.
Right. Yeah. So talking about the boxes, Sheldon's referring to the buy box. What is it that you're looking for? Because in real estate, there's really so many different facets and specialties that you could focus on, even on the residential side. And so for me, it's been, distressed properties and tired landlords and things of that nature. And so, like Sheldon mentioned, there's going to be lots of opportunities. And what our job is right now, especially when we're being quarantined at home and we're limited on what we can do, is to prepare, right? To
absolutely
strategize, right? Live life by a strategy, Dane. Don't let life just happen to you. Plan your activities and start building your foundation of knowledge, so that when an opportunity comes your way, you'll be able to recognize it and take advantage of it.
That's exactly it, right? Being in a position to acknowledge it and then take advantage of it. So,
right.
Maybe we could discuss a little bit of, as far as like, what does that ideal customer look like for the Express Offers program or distressed properties, and then then we can segue into a few different ways people can find these people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think to take a step back and to really look at who our iBuyers are in the Express Offer platform, they are your local area specialists. These are folks that already own investment companies that are very proficient in finding these types of properties on their own. And what we're going to be doing is being in effect a bird dog out there, being aware of the types of properties that they're looking for, and so that when we see them, we'll know how to recognize them and how to take them down. So typically, what you look for, the ideal customer, is someone that wants to quickly convert their asset into cash, right? So
Yep.
they need a quick sale. Why would someone need a quick sale, right? Say you lost your job, and you know that whatever industry you're in, it might be tough to find a replacement job at the salary you need. And so you need to quickly prepare your family to maybe to downsize, and so that you don't become, a casualty of a foreclosure or something of that nature. So they're preparing in advance, and they are willing to trade some of their equity to protect the rest of their equity.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, how relevant is that right now with, and, an opportunity for people to cash out on that equity and, live on it potentially for however long until these things recover.
You never know. That's right. Yeah. So the other type, of course, is sometimes people find themselves in foreclosure. And there's all sorts of reasons why people can find themselves in a financial hardship. And, frankly, that's just life. Life is not always just a perpetual ride on the escalator going up where every day it gets better and better. There are some days when things happen. Maybe you get a divorce. Maybe you get injured, get fired, right? Or the company goes out of business, or
medical. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons.
a spouse dies, right? There's all sorts of things that can happen in our lives that where we find ourselves in a situation where we do need to quickly sell the property. And so there's that. There's, of course, what happens if you inherit a property that's 1,000 miles away. You have no skill set in the real estate space. You're not a contractor. And you've got this asset that now is going to be sitting there vacant. Your family, would want you and would demand of you to deal with, the asset properly, have it sold and converted into cash, so it can be distributed to, the remaining heirs of the families, and for use of whatever they're going to use it for.
Yeah, no, I love those scenarios. I've had a handful of those over the year where it's, all of a sudden somebody calls you and, hey, I was cleaning out grandma's house and, I found your letters in her kitchen drawer and she must have hung on to them for a reason. So we'd love to meet with you.
Right.
But there's a gamut of reasons there. So, what are kind of maybe a few other than ones there to wrap it up, and then we can swing around and figure out how we can kind of identify and properly maneuver ourselves in these scenarios.
Yeah, I think the folks that I get along, the stress sales are always fairly hard. A lot of emotion attached to those types of properties, to those situations that people find themselves in. So you have to go into those with a tremendous amount of empathy. And if you are a caring person and a good advisor, and you're knowledgeable about how to help them, those are great properties to be able to get into. But I would say that my favorite customer is generally the older person or persons. You might have a family that's owned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rental properties over the years. Their children are grown. Their children are professionals, and they have their own lives, and they're very busy. And these guys, they don't want to burden their children when they pass with these properties that are many times problem properties, right? They have dealt with these tenants, or tenants in general for 20 years and have that skill set. But frankly, that's kind of an acquired skill set. You have to go through the trial and error of that. And so you will find folks that are, just preparing their financials. They're preparing their, I think they're preparing all their assets to be more liquid, right? That's probably the best way to put it. They're making themselves more liquid. They don't want the assets anymore. They want to convert them into cash. They've owned them for a long time. They're generally not updated. Sometimes they have tenants in there that are giving them problems again. They just They just did a make ready 12 months ago, and they've got these tenants in there that made all kinds of promises, and now they're not paying rent. They're not great tenants. They complain about this and that, and so they're just tired of it, right? We call them the tired landlord, and those folks, and I just get along with them so well. They know and here's why. They know exactly what they want. They know what they have. They're willing to, at least the people that you'll do business with, they're willing to leave money on the table for the guy that's going to go in and update it. They're going to deal with the tenant situation, and they've benefited from these properties for a very long time. And so capturing every last penny is not their ideal motive in this situation. And so, if you can build rapport with them and trust, and you're transparent with what it is that you're doing, they'll happily leave money on the table for you. So I love those situations.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there on a couple of things, right? One is not every single person is out after the absolute most money.
Sure.
In all of these scenarios, if you come in transparent, right, with empathy and, with a purpose to serve, I guess is probably the correct way to say it. And, you're there to help them find the solution that is best for them. You're not there to steer them. You're not there to push them one way or another. It's just, hey, here's the options we have available to you.
Yeah.
What makes the most sense for you? And then let's construct the best scenario around whatever, box or
Absolutely.
Exit plan that may be.
And that's where being transparent is. I always go into a property and let people know exactly why I'm there, right? That I'm simply a guy. I can provide a solution. I can close quickly. I can make it super convenient. And I share with my goal for the property is either A, I'm going to keep it as a rental, and so I've got to go through and update it, prepare it for the rental market, or B, I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to remodel the property, bring the property back up to its former glory, and then I'm going to put a family in it and resell it. So I go through that process, and then, oh yeah, by the way, I do this for a living, and so I need to make a profit about that. And are you okay with that? And they will 100% of the time say, yes, I'm okay with that. In fact, I've had many people say, look, if you were to tell me that you were going to go through that process and not make any money, then I would believe that you are a liar and a thief. And I won't trust you one bit. Yeah, because everyone in business works for a profit, right? That's how we pay our taxes and, continue our marketing, cover our business overhead, and have, and earn money to take care of our families. And so if you have an ulterior explanation that doesn't involve a fair profit, then you're not being honest with them. And many times they'll be able to see that because they're not stupid. They're going to figure it out, and they're just going to think that you're deceiving them, which is the wrong way to go.
And some of them, right, it puts their hearts at ease, right, seeing you go through that process and seeing the property return kind of that former glory. I mean, even the one we have going right now together, right? I mean, they're wanting to pop back in and check it out, and they're excited about what the end product's going to be, and knowing the whole time that we're doing it because we are going to make money.
That's right. So I think I got off a little from the track you had said, or the questioning. Right. What type of properties really are iBuyers looking for? And they're looking for they're simply looking for opportunity, right? Anybody that's buying a piece of property is buying equity. That's what it is they want. If they're doing it right, they're buying equity, right? You're not paying retail for a house. Anyone can pay retail for a house. You just jump on the MLS or wherever your source of properties is and buy anything buy the first property that shows up. We're looking for equity. We're looking for opportunity. Many times these properties need work. And so our iBuyers are looking for a way to make money and a way to take a broken property in many cases, rehabilitate it, and put it back into the inventory for either people looking for a rent house or people looking to live in a house, right? So reconditioning houses, these older houses, and put them back into service.
I love that. So, on your 750 plus deals of experience, I mean, what are some of your best ways of identifying these properties, right? Because I think that's what a lot of agents struggle with. And, you know, you and I are lucky that we have a pretty strong background in this stuff, but a lot of people, this is new to them. It's unfamiliar, and it's okay. You know, I love this. I believe in it. I see the opportunity. How do I find them?
Yeah. First thing, let me just recognize that even though you're a young guy, you've got a tremendous amount of experience in this space as well. So you haven't mentioned that at all, but coming from a real estate family, and being, you're probably out touring properties when you're still in the womb is a great asset. And so you can, you know, with the amount of experience and all the people that you've worked with over the years that are extremely high performing, I mean, very, very high performing individuals, it gives, there's no doubt that it gives an advantage simply because we have the knowledge base, right? We have that foundation. And which is what it is. That's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to help people understand what the foundation requirements are so that you can build upon that, right?
Yeah, and there's always right a point you have to get started. Yeah, I mean, you and I have sat in a lot of living rooms and faced a lot of different scenarios and helped people through them. But you know, I guess the biggest thing is, you know, how can we help agents get in those living rooms, right?
Well, one of the things that I would do always is, you know, you have to develop a list, right? And wherever the source of properties are, and what I mean by that is every economic cycle has a different different strategies that are effective, right? Or, you know, or efficient, I would say. And so, for example, when we were having the foreclosure crisis, there wasn't a tremendous benefit to going after all of the folks that were underwater or, I mean,
well, there was major equity gaps there in a lot of those deals.
There was, and I hesitated a little bit because, you know, I know that for a little while we were negotiating short sales and creating equity through our negotiations with finance institutions, right? So we were able to create those equity spreads to be able to buy properties. But there, at least in California, there were so many properties that are going through the foreclosure process that the most efficient way was to simply just show up at the courthouse steps and be a bidder on those properties, because there were dozens and dozens of dozens going through every single day. And so that was the most efficient way to buy distressed property. The gaps were already there on many of the properties. Banks didn't want to take them back. They wanted to liquidate them, get cash, and that's where the money was. They could liquidate them immediately. And so in a more normalized cycle, though, I think you have an approach that covers many areas. And I think the bottom line is you need a list and to develop a list of properties that you're going to regularly market to. So here, what are some? How do you develop your list? Well, so if you're looking for people who are in foreclosure, then there are services out there that will provide you a foreclosure list, right? You need to know what the laws are in the state that you're doing real estate in, especially in places like California. We have very specific laws that can really, if you mess them up, financially, you will be penalized. In a big way. So you can't do anything that's against the rules in this space. You have to follow the rules and the guidelines. But if you're doing that and you can operate within those rules and still be wildly successful, just don't mess it up. Get it right. But develop a list. There are sources there are companies that provide that information. Simply be a subscriber to that source of information.
And you say companies, right? I mean, like the biggest one that always jumps to my mind when you talk about stuff like that, right? There's always Property Radar.
Formerly known as Foreclosure Radar, but that's
great way to source deals. You know, a lot of those deals you are going to run into a lot of competition. There's just no ifs, ands, buts about that.
It's normal.
Yeah, but I mean, we've found and sourced a lot of deals from there in the past. So I mean, that's one great tool that's still out there today.
Yeah, and so I would say that you want to start developing a list, and the list is an ongoing process. You don't just buy one list and expect it to last a long time. You're updating the list is as much as daily, right? Daily.
Yep.
In California, for example, we have recordings Monday through Friday. So you'll see notice of defaults being recorded, notice of trustee sales being recorded. You'll have divorces being recorded, right? You'll have other information, in terms of could be death certificates or whatever it is. However, whatever types of properties that you want to specialize in, you can find a list of those, and then it's about marketing. But you have to first develop the list of properties, and probate, divorce, foreclosure, red tag, right? Those are the properties that the county's gone out and say, hey, this is not habitable. It's like, look at this house that I'm in right now. Right now, this one is a habitable house, the one behind me. Iffy, yeah. But if it doesn't have power, if it doesn't have sewer, doesn't have water, or other problems with condition, dangerous conditions, the county will say, look, it's not a habitable house. They'll put a red tag on it, and you can't live there and you can't work on it until you go and get permits that are specifically address those types of issues. So you've got red tag properties, right?
Yeah, it could be fire damaged.
All those things. So there's all types of those properties. Develop those lists, and then it's about marketing to those people. You can do direct mail. You can have a service that will look up the phone numbers of these individuals, right? Do some sort of skip tracing or a way to identify the owner and their contact information, and then do text message marketing, right? Some way, door knocking, whatever it is that you're comfortable with.
A lot of these techniques, right? Once you've kind of identified and established that list, you can go old school with this, guys. The yellow letters, one of my favorites still to this day, right? It's nothing fancy, just a simple legal pad paper of, hey, my name's Sheldon Steele, and I've taken an interest at your property at 123 C Street, and I'd love to chat with you. It can be very straight to the point. Those foreclosure days, and still to this day, I still and this is kind of a little pro tip, I still carry 5 or 6 letters in my truck in the center console, and I still do it, and it's because it's worked. But as an agent, you're out there, you're cruising, you may see the house with the tall grass, or, the roof that's way past due of needing to be replaced. And, I just keep a simple letter in there of, hey, my name's Sheldon, my wife and I, we buy homes, and, we'd love to speak with you about your house. I seal it up, white envelope, write homeowner on it, go drop it on the doorstep. Just simple little things like that as you're in your normal course of business can generate those type of deals as well.
You can absolutely do that. I love to have door hangers. So if I'm outdoor knocking, I've had some very successful door knocking campaigns. You develop a list of people who you think are highly motivated. So for me, that would be someone that has a notice of trustee sale. In California, that means they have a minimum of from the day that notice is filed, they have a minimum of 21 days left before a trustee sale can happen. The property gets foreclosed. And so that's some motivation there. If you know that your house can be sold in less than 3 weeks, man, you're in trouble. You got to figure something out. And,
like now.
Yeah. So, I would develop that list where, for the full day, I'm going to be driving around town, and I'm going to be going to these properties. And for the ones that were not there, I would have a couple of different types of pieces. One is a simple letter like you described, a yellow postcard that I might just stick under the mat or wedge in between the door and the frame. Yeah, you just stick it in there, and with it being yellow, or a colored piece. I've done pink as well. They just become very visual. People are going to see them, and they might just take a quick look at it. And I love the message that you had, Sheldon, because it's simple, it's non-threatening. It doesn't embarrass them if they're showing up the door with their friend and their friends don't know that they're in foreclosure. It just says simply, look, I'm looking to buy another house in the neighborhood, And if you're interested in selling, please give me a call. No commissions, no repairs, no BS, just simple principal to principal type, right, scenario. And people respond to those. Not everyone, but they respond to them.
Yep, simple and clean. And those ones I carry in my truck, right? I even put a little picture of us in there. So it's
I love it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, right? Then they know you're real. You're an actual person. You're not just, you know, it's not another paper, something that was just ran off a machine. Now, I still print them out, but you know, all of the envelopes are handwritten.
Yeah, and if you want to take it a step beyond, you know, on that, you can create a little URL, right? That maybe would say, I don't know, you can make one up. Turn your house into, or turn your asset into cash.com. They go to that website and all of a sudden now they're seeing something more formal, more professional. You're able to deliver more information to them, even have a little video in there, right? How good would that be to kind of share some of the same information, but then they're seeing who it is. So door knocking is not easy. What if they answer the door? What then? I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? Now I'm scared. But if you still have just a simple approach and you're not talking to them about something embarrassing, you'll generally find that either they are willing or they're not willing to have a conversation. And maybe they're not at that time. You have something that you could leave with them, that your little yellow letter or a door hanger or whatever it is that you're choosing to leave behind. And then you go on your way and you give them a little bit of space. You can follow back up with them, make a note, hey, I met with this person, and you know, and just keep track, right? Sometimes, you know, what's great is sometimes you go out and you're going to find the house has already been vacated. They already left.
Yep.
They own it, but they've moved on. I mean, that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, especially back in the days. I mean, we saw a lot of those. If they knew what was coming, so it was like, hey, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, then the hunting begins.
Yeah, and so look, here's the point. If we're working with people who are looking for iBuyer solutions, there are opportunities out there, and some of you folks that live in these big cities, you know, you're going to find that if you have a system that you're working in, and you have a strategy that you're focused on, that you will get success from that. And I would also say that you could effectively use one strategy, especially if you're door knocking every single day and you are talking to people specifically that are in foreclosure and that have to sell now, right? With the iBuyer program, wow. Imagine just going up and say, look, I've got a buyer for this property or your neighbor's property. It doesn't really matter. And I'm just out talking to folks in the neighborhood today. And I wanted to stop by and see if you're open to selling your property. You are? Yes, maybe no. Okay. If you are, look, it's a very simple process. We have investment companies that we work with regularly that pay all cash for properties, and they close quickly. They can close as soon as 10 days, or they can give you some time to even plan out your move. You need 30 days, you need 45 days. We can do something like that too. We can buy your property and give you a little bit of extra time to have a planned and organized move, right? So how cool is that to be able to do that?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Then as you get that momentum going, right, you establish yourself as that authority. Yeah. You know, and maybe it's not theirs, but maybe Aunt Susie over here has got to get rid of her rental, or right. You know, then you start to, you know, the winds pick up within your sphere even, and then all of a sudden, as hey, you know, we've got grandma's house over here that, you know, she just moved into a home or whatever, and it's a mess, right? You know, we know you, we trust you, you know. One of your buyers want this
That's
thing.
Right. I promise that if you're doing that 30 times a day, you're going to have people that are interested. So if you're in a large enough city, right, where you have where you can focus, like one day I'm going to be in this suburb, and then this suburb, and then this suburb, and then this suburb. Not only I think you'll find tremendous success in that. Yep. You may not be in a city where there's only 200,000 people. You're not going to. Eventually, you're going to run out of being able to do that every day. But there must be some other places around you. If not, then use other strategies, right? You can use that strategy and a
Yeah, and
mailing strategy.
that one for, yeah, right, places that have scheduled trustee sales, or even places in notice of the defaults. I mean, you're probably going to see those really kick up with, especially with some of this forbearance stuff going on, and people probably not fully understanding what they're signing up for in a lot of those scenarios. Yeah, if you just target those two on a door knocking strategy, like you say, you're gonna get deals. There's
That's
just
right.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, and so the iBuyers that we have are looking for those types of properties every day. I can imagine that an agent that was really focused on that space would be able to create, at least a couple of dozen properties a year just on the acquisition side. And then some of our iBuyers will even go back to you as the agent that and allow you to resell for them. And I would even go as far as saying that even though some of the buyers already have their own teams of people that they trust and have trained and developed to sell their own properties, if you are a regular source of deals for them, then they want to make you happy. They want to create a better and more long-lasting relationship by allowing you to, especially if you know what you're doing, allowing you to resell those properties and become, a more value and trusted source for them to not only source deals for them to buy, but then on the exit side.
Absolutely. And I've always kind of taken that same approach with investors too, right? If you make yourself a valuable part of their business, you've got to make yourself to where it hurts if they lose you.
Yeah.
There you right. Go. And then you've really got something going. So, door knocking, the yellow letter campaigns, right? And those can be targeted, same thing, towards your notice of trustee sales, towards your notice of defaults, establishing a referral relationship with a probate attorney can be another great way.
Absolutely. A probate attorney is right. Estate sales, look out for estate sale companies.
Yeah.
Those would be a good referral source. Companies that will come in, they'll take all the contents of a property and set up, do the setup, the marketing and advertising to hold an estate sale. So those can be a valuable source. Divorce attorneys, other types of attorneys that deal with people having a personal hardship. It's not a one-way referral, right? What we're talking about is really having a network of professionals that you can refer on a regular basis. So when you're out in the field and someone says, "Hey, I've got this issue," you're like, "Look, I know someone that can help you. It's very, very successful, in the space where you need help in, and be a good place for you to at least have a conversation and start gathering some information."
I love your. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, you're coming to from a place of service.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, I love your estate sale one, right? Because oftentimes those people are actually getting in and getting the property cleaned up and dealt with before those folks even talk to an agent.
Before. Yeah. And a lot of times before they even have permission to deal with the real property, right? They're at this point, they're dealing with just the personal property in there. And then once the personal property's gone, then they deal with the real property, right?
Yep,
so,
absolutely. I dig that one. There was another thing I was going to talk about too, and I haven't used this a lot, but maybe during quarantine time here, it could be effective. I know there's apps and programs out there like Deal Machine where you can even add it, into your Chrome extensions and literally, drive for dollars virtually through Google Maps, right? And hey, there's one with a bum yard or roofs coming down or this or that, right? You can tag them, save them, right? Then go back, look up ownership and follow up that way. So, I mean, there's even ways to do this, at home at night rather than watching TV. I mean, you're cruising street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood, identifying these properties with a lot less windshield time.
Well, I love that. And I haven't heard of Deal Machine.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting way. And of course, that's definitely a better way to spend your time is to cruise neighborhoods virtually, right? You can do that because every neighborhood pretty much has been mapped out unless it's brand new.
Yeah, and I mean,
those aren't going to be your customers anyway.
Those maps are fairly recent for the most part. So, I mean, you might not always get the absolute best insight, but Man, talk about a way to cover a lot of ground quickly. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. The sound seems to be off a little bit. We're having a synchronicity issue. And I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but I guess we could keep rolling.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, these types of properties have always existed, right? They used to be the contractor special, right, back in the day. And then that transformed into being the investor special. And the bottom line is, no matter what's going on, no matter in the economy, no matter what the real estate market is, whether it's going up or going down, there's always properties that need work.
Yep.
There are properties that have deferred maintenance. There's just a lot of ugly houses out there. They need updating. They need to be refreshed, right? Cabinets don't last forever. Flooring doesn't last forever. Those things degrade over time. We wear them out. And that creates opportunity for companies who do updating and basically remodeling these properties. They add value to the properties and they resell them for a profit. So those things have always existed. It could specialize in this area like you and I have done. And if they're productive and can make sure that they're using the right strategies and become efficient at those strategies, they'll do extremely well as a real estate agent. Then there's all these other, as you're going out and you're looking at these, you're basically, what are we doing? We're prospecting, right?
Yeah.
You'll find people that simply want to use you because you're the neighborhood realtor, right? Because you're the guy that showed up at the door. And when I say guy, it's gender neutral. You're the person.
You're
right?
the person out there working.
Yes. And what is that old saying? 50% of success is just showing up, just being there. So you'll get regular and traditional transactions that come out of this. Just buyers that say, look, or sellers that say, look, I'm not selling my house at a discount, but I'm selling my house. And can you help me? And of course, you're licensed. You're going to be able to help them.
Absolutely. And, I love that kind of recaps it. Now's the time to do it, guys. You're stuck at home. Start tinkering with ways you can refine these systems and what works with you and start identifying these things right now.
That's
right. And kind of recapping this, obviously a lot of this conversation is based around, our previous posts and videos and stuff on the Express Offers program. So,
right.
Most of you listening to this are probably already a part of that, but I would say if you're not and you want to know more about how you can have these cash buyers lined up for you on these properties that you do find, we'll drop Doug and I's information down below. And, even if you've got a property that you're unsure about or maybe need some help or tweaking with, reach out to us. We're here. We're happy to help.
I'm going to go one further, Sheldon, and I'm going to say, look, if you have an interest in this type of real estate and you're looking for help, you want to surround yourself with people that will spend time with you and show you exactly how to do it and will have a vested interest in your success, reach out to us as well. We've got a tremendous network of professionals. We've got, frankly, we've been doing it a long time, so we've got, a high skill set in this space, and we are constantly looking for other folks to partner with, either that we can work with directly as agents, or maybe you're in you are in an area where we don't have an iBuyer established and you want to become one of our iBuyers. So either way, we're looking to partner with other people, and we'd love to have at least an opportunity for a conversation.
Absolutely. No, and that's it, right, guys? We're here. We're ready. So let's keep this rolling, and maybe we'll follow up with some more info. But like we said, we'll throw our info down below, and if you're ready to have a discussion and partner with us, we'd love to do so.
Yep. So with that being said, hey, thanks for joining us today, and we'll either see you at the top.
Oh, he's going there. I love it. Thank you, Dougie. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All righty.
Talk
to you soon. Bye.